Hello and welcome to MetroArts. I'm your host, Cheryl Coonan. Here on MetroArts, we highlight some of the best in the business, from fine artists, photographers, and performing artists to cinematographers and musical artists, all from the Metro Detroit area. On today's show, from Gallery 555, we have Erik Garant, Alana Rodriguez, and James Johnson. We'll feature the Free Press Film Festival and documentary producer Stephen McGee and revisit some of our favorite musical guests from past seasons. We'd like to welcome Operations Director Erik Garant, Community Outreach Director Alana Rodriguez, and clothing designer James Johnson of 555 Gallery and Studios to the Midtown Studio. Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
Thank you for having us.
Sure. So what is 555 Gallery and Studios?
555 Gallery and Studios is a community arts organization. We do everything from host exhibitions to have performance art like bands and dance and orchestrated music, all different types. We also are an artist in residence facility, so we have nearly 30 artists that we have as full-time artists.
Wow. How was it founded and how did the gallery get its name?
555 was founded at U of M in Ann Arbor by three folks: Carl Goins, who is our executive director, Monty Martinez, and Andreas Garces. 555 got its name because the number kept coming up when they'd look at their watch, or they had a lunch bill and it was $5.55, and it just kept coming up as a number, and they thought it's neutral enough, so it doesn't kind of just put 555, doesn't put the gallery as being just one certain type of art gallery, and it kind of this has this ambiguous nature to it, so where when the name doesn't mean so much, you kind of look past it and you see, there's so much there. So I think it's great. We still work on that premise where it's this neutral name and come in and experience what 555 is through the people, and it looks nice on shirts too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what do each of you do at the gallery?
Well, I'm an artist and I'm a resident there. I have my own space there. I also do clothing design there, and if need be anything miscellaneous, if they need somebody to come in for a certain amount of time, I can get a call and then I'll just come in. So pretty much a give and take situation.
You wear a lot of hats then.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
How about you?
That's one of his hats, actually.
How about you, Alana?
I'm the community outreach director there. What that is basically I go out into the community, the smaller community that is Southwest Detroit, and then the fuller community, which is Detroit and then Michigan as a whole. I reach out to other organizations and other nonprofit organizations as well as for-profit. Different events that they're having that 555 would like to be a part in. We'd like to partner with them, or if they'd like to use us as a resource. I came in as an intern during the summer, and I kind of just noticed that was lacking there, that they were so worried about the actual aesthetics of the building and getting all the programming started that they didn't have anyone to reach out to the community, and I thought that would be the perfect spot for me to fit in.
Yeah, great fit.
Yes.
How about you, Erik?
I'm 555's operations director. I do anything from give tours of the gallery to handle financials and business meetings to helping the artist get situated, any of our artists in residence. So pretty much runs the gamut from business to being a tour guide to speaking about 555 in this capacity as well. So it's not standard operations director, but it does include standard operations director stuff, but it spreads out just like the rest of us there. We have titles, but we learn how to do everything if we want to.
Right.
And so we all have this support role that we understand each other's roles so well that we can be strong as a team.
That's great. Now I understand you all are artists.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the work that you do?
Well, I do a lot of spray painting, acrylic work, watercolor, clothing design, photography.
Wow.
Graphic design.
Wow,
so, yeah.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Very cool. How about you, Alana?
I as well, like James, I do repurposing of clothing. I have a boutique actually at the gallery. And I also do your fine art. I paint and I draw and I do that sort of things.
Great.
I'm a musician and a photographer. I have a studio at 555 where I play in 3 different bands and make my own music, electronic music by myself, and also do some photography as well.
Great. Now, what is the process like for artists who want to get involved in the gallery?
How it's been since we've been moving in this new direction as a cooperative. 555 was founded as more of a collective, so it was people coming in, doing their thing, and kind of just floating, where the executive director wanted to change that and make it more profound, the business structure and model to be more profound. So we've allowed artists to just kind of come in, talk their piece and talk about what they do, and write a proposal, and we talk. We get together 3 or 4 times, and we figure out what the artist is good at. And that is the essential part, to come to 555, do what you're good at, and be able to learn, and be able to teach at the same time, and so that you become rounded as an artist, well-rounded as an artist. And it really shows when we have an event and people just come together and they do it, and they do it through their art, they do it through their sense of community, they do it through their willingness to cooperate with each other. And I've never seen it work so well than at 555, where people, complete strangers, work so well together. So to answer your question, I think the process is really just being there and showing your interest and doing what you do and bringing it to the table so that people can get to know what you do. And it's such a natural thing. It's really hard to put into words sometimes because it's just so natural.
It sounds like such a great environment.
It's pretty great.
Where can people go to learn more about the gallery?
I mean, essentially just coming in is the best way to learn. I mean, because we could tell you online or whatever, but it's just the best way to learn is coming in.
Step in at any time.
Experience what is 555.
Right, right. You're online too and on social media?
We have a website, www.555arts.org, and we have a Facebook page and as well Instagram page as well.
Great. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime, yeah.
You're watching MetroArts Detroit, produced at Wayne State University. And now, let's take a look at additional video from 555 Gallery and Studios.
555 to me is just my creative plug. I can come here and I can be heard and people can take my ideas, and 9 times out of 10 they're like, yes, it's a good idea. And it's my creative outlet, and I think everyone needs a creative outlet, and this just lets me do everything, every aspect of my creativity.
Our number one concern or mission is that we use the arts to strengthen the community. I think that our 5 programs are working to do that. Those would be studios, exhibitions, a residency program, public arts, and an arts education program.
The first Detroit Free Press Film Festival showcased a number of documentaries focused on city issues. MetroArts associate producers LaTanya Berry and Jamila Jackson covered the event, and Jamila filed this report.
The first ever Free Film Festival gave Detroit filmmakers a platform to tell their stories.
A few years ago, the entertainment editor Steve Byrne, who's now the executive director of the festival, came to me and said, hey, there's this whole bunch of films about Detroit and there's really no place to see them all together.
The first full day of the festival began with a free screening of Madman or Martyr, a documentary produced and directed by 18-year-old Luke Jaden.
I came out of a history project class, and you either had to choose to write a paper or do a documentary, and I'm like, I want to experiment with something new and outside my boundaries, and I am an actor, so I wanted to become more of that filmmaker type.
A panel discussion followed the screening, and questions were welcomed from the audience. The Free Film Festival showcased many documentaries focusing on the issues in and around Metro Detroit. From the Detroit Film Theater and the Free Film Festival, I'm producer Jamila Jackson for MetroArts Detroit.
I'd like to welcome filmmaker Stephen McGee to the Midtown studio at Wayne State. Welcome, Stephen.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you were one of the panelists at the Freep Film Festival. What did you think of the festival?
I thought the festival was pretty amazing because of the opportunity that gave local filmmakers to present their work. Often it's hard for a filmmaker to find a platform to be able to present their either positive story or negative story or short film or feature film in this environment, because we don't really have a consistent, I guess, film audience. And so to be able to partner with the Detroit Free Press, which I used to work with, was fantastic for any type of filmmaker. And Steve Byrne, the editor, who was in charge of collaborating each day and coordinating each day, did a really great job balancing out the different types of stories.
Very cool. Now, what do you feel that residents of Detroit and Michiganders in general should know about documentarians and filmmakers like yourself who are shedding light on issues important to our areas?
I think life as a filmmaker is basically pretty different per filmmaker. But for me, particularly, I just love people and I want to tell their stories. And so for a lot of filmmakers, they find a topic that interests them and they try and search out the answers to that topic. So I would hope for people in this area to kind of see that filmmakers from specifically Detroit are really trying to broaden the narrative of Detroit. Right now, a lot of people know of us from our crime or our blight. And so I've seen a really huge surge of stories that kind of inform that narrative, which is I think pretty important for our area in general.
And to sort of inspire others to kind of see what else is out there and showcase that themselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you look at something visual, I mean, most people talk about negative things anyways, and so how easy is it just to go out and film something that looks negative in the environment of Detroit? But right next door to the blighted house are some amazing stories.
Right, right. Now, I know you've had an extensive filmmaking career, which led up to your project called One Day in Detroit, and we have a video of that. Let's watch.
Detroit, home to the automobile and to rock and roll. Detroiters are proud, engaged, creative and pioneering. Yet we all know we are a city in the midst of vast challenges and transition. Many of our obstacles will only be overcome with engaged individuals, communities, and leaders. How do we make a better Detroit in the next 20 years? What is the future of our home? On April 26th, join hundreds of filmmakers for a one-day, citywide, historic media creation event to help investigate 10 questions for the future of your city. We will create a TV series and a geotagged archive of stories from across the city, for the city. With your help, we can ensure citywide coverage with diverse perspectives from every neighborhood. We ask for your support to start a movement to create a document of Detroit that will authentically inform our future together. This is your day, your city, and your future. Visit www.onedayindetroit.org and join us to help answer 10 questions for the future of your city.
This seems like such a great idea. Can you tell us about the 10 questions idea?
Yeah, so it's, when you think of the story of Detroit, it's pretty complicated. I mean, we have block by block participation of residents trying to bring it back, but then also a huge elephant in the room, which is the bankruptcy. And so multiply that by the 11 cities that are participating, there had to be some type of story arc around what people are trying to document on that day. And so we broke it up to 10 questions that are including, you know, where do you find hope in your city? What's the worst that could happen in your city? Where do you find, you know, who are the people you'd like to highlight in the city? And just kind of pushing people to I guess, explore what they see and what they live visually.
And to really think about it, because I'm sure, you know, they seem like pretty obvious questions, but people don't often sit down and actually think about these things as it pertains to what's happening around them.
Exactly, and I think a strength of this project is that you have a cell phone camera. You're probably on Instagram or some type of social media. And so this is just basically a national platform for your voice that's beyond your immediate circle of friends.
Yeah, definitely. As you move forward, what do you hope will come of this project?
Well, we all have a different Detroit that we know, and I really hope that people get to see each individual life as kind of a collaborative effort to kind of, like I said, expand the visual narrative of our city. And so what I hope to happen is that people kind of begin to be like, oh, Detroit, yeah, I've heard some cool stuff's happening there, instead of like, oh, you live there.
All the negative, right?
Yeah.
Right. What do you think the future holds for filmmaking and documentarians in Detroit and in Michigan?
I think the future is pretty amazing because you don't need to live in LA or New York to be a professional anymore. I mean, those are definitely the cities that people gravitate to, but because of airports, internet, you know, you can basically live anywhere and be stationed anywhere. And with our housing where it is right now and the opportunities that people have to be able to give back to the communities they live in and be a part of something bigger than just living in a city, I feel like filmmakers can be a part of that and not only tell that story, but live that story.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for being here today,
Thank
Stephen.
you very much.
You're watching MetroArts on Detroit Public Television. As we wrap up Season 3 of MetroArts Detroit, let's take a look back at some of our favorite musical guests from our first 2 seasons.
Yo, let's go. It's Crew 32, Beast Food, DJ Head on the 1s and 2s. Yeah, MetroArts Detroit, what's up? I'm on a new level. Yeah, I'm on a new level. They all be like, who's this? Now I'm going stupid. You know I'm on that new tip. I walk in the club with 2 chicks. Don't front, you know they look good. High heels, better than I know you like them too. 1 follow by letters 0. Yeah, my checks look just like you do. Yeah, I be like, get the heck out my ear. They say, Drew, you got that crazy flow. Well, turn me up in your radio. Let the speakers bang. Let that youngin' do his thing. Yeah, I'm on a new level. I don't ever play games. See, I'm gon' make a milli, then take it to the crib. See, I'm gon' make a belly, then I'ma do it big. Yeah, my flow so sick, go get the nurse. See, talk flow when I bless this verse. I don't really get it, I can be this fly and at the same time be down to earth. Crystal ball, I'm staring in. Yep, I'm on that pharaoh shit. Tracks on tracks on tracks. Step back, they look at the railroad shit. Walk in the party, ain't nobody ill as me. Yeah. 3 words. Yeah. 1 or 2 infinity. I say I got a lot of lovers and I got a lot of haters. If you ain't talking money, I have to see you later. Hold up, where you at? I'm on a new level. Where you at? I'm on a new level. I got a lot of lovers and I got a lot of haters. If you ain't talking money, I have to see you later. Hold up, where you at? I'm on a new level. Where you at? I'm on a new level. There's no reason, I guess that I was chose. I'm a kick rocks, I'm a kick flows. I'm on a new level, homie, all the girls know. They ain't messing with no amateurs, you know they wanna blow. You know, according to infinity, yeah, we before our time. Detroit above the brim, yeah, that's the bottom line. We in a new era, that you ain't occupied. Yeah, can't put me in the box, 'cause I'm too out of line. I got a lot of lovers and I got a lot of haters. If you ain't talking money, I have to see you later. Hold up, where you at? I'm on a new level. Where you at? I'm on a new level. I got a lot of lovers and I got a lot of haters. If you ain't talking money, I have to see you later. Hold up, where you at? I'm on a new level.
I was waiting on a bus to take me far away when an old man came up to me. Said, man, them boots are worn thin, looks like they've been through hell. I bet they have a story to tell. Well, ain't that the truth? You know, they seem better days, but you could say the same for me. Well, tell me the story, I got nothing but time. I'd like to hear it if you don't mind. Those were the days, life wasn't so easy. Those were the days we were finding meaning. Those were the days we were finding our path. Those were the days. I'm glad now I can laugh. I'm glad I can laugh. Well, they were with me when I got my very first car. Felt lucky every time it would start. And they were with me when I was so busy having fun I never got anything done. And they were with me as I hiked through all those cities and all those lonely streets. And they were with me when I held her and said I love you, but there's other places I gotta be. Those were the days, life wasn't so easy. Those were the days we were finding meaning. Those were the days we were finding our path. Those were the days. I'm glad now I can laugh. I'm glad I can laugh. Well, they were with me every step that I was chasing my dreams, up every mountain top and sea to sea. And they were with me on the whiskey-drenched, lust-filled nights when I wasn't being who I ought to be. And they were with me when I used to sit and stare at the moon, wondering if she's staring too. And they were with me when I almost gave up on it all. I didn't know what else I should do. Those were the days, life wasn't so easy. Those were the days we were finding meaning. Those were the days we were finding our path. Those were the days. I'm glad now I can laugh. I'm glad I can laugh. So glad I can laugh. I'm glad I can laugh.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. I'd like to thank our guests, Erik Garant, Alana Rodriguez, James Johnson, and Stephen McGee for joining us today. And a special thanks to all of our past guests who've appeared on the show. I'm your host on MetroArts, Cheryl Coonan, reminding you to foster your own creativity and always support the arts wherever you go.